BRICS is getting bigger. 5 more countries have officially joined the economic bloc. I'm Kalilah Reynolds, financial journalist and educator. So Ethiopia, Egypt, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates have become the latest countries to join the BRICS economic bloc. The new 10-member group now represents 42% of the world's population and 1/3 of the global economy. BRICS is an acronym that stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, which are considered to be some of the world's fastest growing economies. China, for one, is already the second largest economy in the world. The idea behind the grouping is that these countries will dominate the global economy by 2050. Essentially, they're trying to become the next G7, the current leading economies. We talked a lot about BRICS last year, so watch those videos for a more in-depth look at the group. In one of those videos, we talked about how dozens of countries were applying to join BRICS. Well, in August, 6 nations were invited, and 5 of them have now officially accepted the invitation. Argentina did apply and was initially invited to join, but since then, the country had an election, and the new government decided to decline. Now BRICS has 10 member nations, and according to South Africa's foreign minister, at least 34 other countries have tossed their names into the ring for consideration. So our next question would be, why these countries specifically? Remember, one of BRICS' main goals is to become the dominant voice when it comes to global economic policy, replacing the G7, which includes countries like the United States, the United Kingdom, France, and Germany. And how do these new countries fit in with that agenda? One word: oil. Saudi Arabia, Iran, and the UAE are all top 10 global oil producers. According to the 2023 numbers, Saudi Arabia is actually the second largest global oil producer behind the United States. The UAE is ranked 8th and Iran is 9th. But guess what? Russia is ranked 3rd, China is 6th, and Brazil 7th. That means of the 10 BRICS member countries, 6 are top 10 oil producers. Now, BRICS controls almost half of the world's oil production, and we know that oil and gas prices influence almost everything. So if you control the oil, you control a lot. Plus, the UAE has a blossoming construction and real estate industry that has and still is attracting a lot of investors. Plus, tourism is a big part of their economy. I mean, Dubai and Abu Dhabi, say less. So it's not hard to see the value that these countries add. But I should also note that there have been some conflicting reports regarding Saudi Arabia and BRICS. On one hand, you have Saudi Arabia's state TV confirming that they've joined the group, but you also have Reuters quoting an official source saying the country is still considering the invitation, so that's still a little unclear. Meanwhile, there's also Egypt and Ethiopia. And you may be wondering, well, how do these two fit in? Egypt has been facing a severe economic downturn. According to Reuters, its currency fell by half between 2022 and 23. In July last year, inflation in Egypt rose to a record 36.5%, and their debt servicing has become increasingly burdensome. So not quite the world's fastest growing economy like some of the others. But Egyptian officials hope their inclusion in BRICS will help attract investment from some of the world's biggest emerging markets. But what's in it for BRICS to have Egypt, with its financial difficulties, become a member? So I couldn't find anything to indicate why Egypt and Ethiopia specifically were invited. But re-Egypt, my first thought was strategic geographic importance, the Suez Canal. Egypt controls a very important trade corridor, especially for those major oil producers. As for Ethiopia, well, maybe they just wanted a strategic presence in East Africa, and maybe South Africa wanted some African allies in the group. Also called the Horn of Africa, Ethiopia has the second largest population on the continent. It's also reportedly the largest economy in East Africa, recently surpassing Kenya. All I know is nothing in international politics is by chance. Everything is very strategic and calculated. BRICS is now nearing half of the world's population and 1/3 of the world's economic power, making them more powerful than ever. And that's the bottom line. So what do you think? Are you surprised at the countries that have joined BRICS? Why or why not? And do you think your country should join? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe to my newsletter for money news like this straight to your inbox. Click the link up here or in the description below. Let's get this money.
Let's get this money.